Hello there. Earth Day is April 22nd, and I wanted to share with you a book that my grandmother gave me. It's The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. Have you read this book before? I feel like most people have heard of the story. So my challenge to you while I'm reading is to make a list of all the characters in this book and think about what is the most important character or characters in this book. Feel free to enjoy the beautiful view behind me and look at a few of the great illustrations in this book as well. If you're ready, let's begin. At the far end of town where the grickle grass grows and the wind smells sour and slower when it blows and no birds have ever sing except for old crows is the street of the lifted Lorax. And deep in the grickle grass, some people say if you look deep enough you can still see today where the Lorax once stood just as long as he could before someone lifted the Lorax away. What was the Lorax and why was it here and why was he lifted and taken somewhere from the far end of town where the grickle grass grows? Ask the Onceler. He still lives here. Ask him. He knows. You won't see the Onceler, you don't knock on his door. He stays in a lurkum on top of his store. He lurks in his lurkum, cold under his roof, where he makes his own cloth out of mint muffin mouth. And some special dark midnights in August he peeks out of his shutters, and sometimes he speaks, and how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you, if you're willing to pay. At the end of the rope, he lets down a tin pail, and you have to toss in 15 cents and a nail and the shell of a great-great-grandfather snail. Then he pulls up his pail in most careful count to see if you've paid him the proper amount. He'll hide what you paid him away in his glove, a secret strange hole in his glove. And then he grunts, "I'll call you by whisper my phone, for the secrets I tell you are for your ears alone." Slurp, slurp downs the whisper-ma-phone to your ear, and the Onceler speaks and not very clear, since he had to come down through a scraggly hose, and it sounds as if he had small bees up his nose. "Now I'll tell ya," with his teeth sounding gray, "how the lifted Lorax got taken away. It all started back, way long time back. Back in the days where the grass was still green and the pond was still wet and the clouds were still clean and the song of the Swimmy swans sang out in this place. One morning I came to this glorious place, and at first I saw the trees, the truffula trees, bright-covered truffulas as of truffula trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. And under the trees I saw the brown barbaloots frisking about in their barbaloot suits as they played in the shade eating truffula fruits. From the righteous pond came the comfortable sound of the humming fish humming as splashing all around. But those trees, those truffula trees, all my life I've been searching in trees such as these. The touch of their troughs were much softer than silk, and they had a sweet smell of fresh buttery milk. I felt a great leap of joy in my heart. I knew what to do. I unloaded my cart. And in no time at all, I built a small shop, and then I chopped down a truffula with one chop. And the great skillful skill and speedy speed, I took the soft truff and I knitted a sneed. The instant I finished, I heard a great zoop. I looked and I saw something pop out of a stump of the tree I chopped down. It was sort of a man. Describe him, that's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and mossy and brownish. He spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy. "Mister! Achoo! I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees. For the trees have no tongues. I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs." He was very upset as he huffed and puffed. "What's that thing you've made out of my truffula troughs?" "Look, Lorax, There's no cause for alarm. I chopped one tree. I'm doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a sneed. A sneed is a fine thing that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat. But it has other uses, yes, far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains of covers of bicycle seats. Sir, you are crazy with greed. There is no one on earth who would buy that foolish sneed. But then that next minute I proved him he was wrong. For just that minute a chap came along. He thought that sneed I knitted was great. He happily bought it for $3.98. Ha ha ha! You poor stupid guy. You never know what some people will buy. I repeat, I speak for the trees. I'm busy, I told him. Shut up if you please. I rushed across the room and in no time at all, I built a radio phone and I made a quick call. I called all my brothers and uncles and aunts and I said, listen here, here's a wonderful chance for the whole Onceler family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast, take the road north niche. Turn west at Wave Haven, sharp right at South Stitch. And in no time at all, in the factory I built, the whole Onceler family was working full tilt. We were all knitting sneeds just as busy as bees, and the sound of the chopping a truffle of trees. Then, oh baby, oh, how did my business grow? Now just chopping one tree at a time was too slow. So I quickly invented my super axe hacker, which whacked off 4 truffle of trees in one smacker. We were making sneeds 4 times as fast as before, and the Lorax, he didn't show up anymore. But then the next week he knocked on my new office door. I am the Lorax, I speak for the trees, which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please. But I'm also in charge of the brown barbaloots who played in the shade in their barbaloot suits, happily living and eating truffle fruits. No! Thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough truffle fruits to go around, and my barbaloots are getting crummies, 'cause they have gas and no food in their tummies. They love living here, but I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food, and I hope that they may. Good luck, boys. And he sent them away. I, the Onceler, felt sad as I watched them all go. But business is business, and business must grow, regardless of crummies and tummies, you know. I meant no harm. I most truly did not. But I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. I biggered my factories, I biggered my roads, I biggered my wagons, I biggered my loads. From the seeds I shipped out was shipping them forth. From south to east to west to north, I went on biggering and selling more sneeds and biggering my money, which everybody needs. And then again, he came back. I was fixing some pipes when the old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes. I am the Lorax! Onceler, you're making such glorious smoke. My poor swami swans, why they can't sing a note. No one can sing when they have smog in their throats. And so, excuse me, they can't live here, so I'm sending them off. Where will they go? I hopefully don't know. They may have to fly for a month or a year to escape the smog you smogged up around here. Once more, his dandruff was up. Let me say a few words about your clappity-clap. Your machine chugs on day and night without stop. And clappity-clap and shloopity-shloop. And you know what you do with that leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old Onceler man, you. You're glumming up the pond where the humming fish hum. No more can they hum when their gills are all glummed, so I'm sending them off. Oh, their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins and get woefully weary in some water that isn't so smeary. And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. Now listen here, Dad. All you do is yap, yap, yap and say bad, bad, bad. Well, I have my rights, sir, and I tell you, I intend on doing just what I do. And for your information, Lorax, I figure on biggering and biggering, turning more staphyla trees into sneeds, which everyone needs. And at that very moment, we heard a large whack. From outside the fields came a sickening smack of an axe on a tree. Then we heard the tree fall, the very last truffula tree of them all. Take a look at the view surrounding the hills. There are many places in the Sierra Nevadas and near here where they clear-cutted, like in this picture. A lot of it was because of the gold rush and going for mining, supporting mining, or small towns or railroads. But it doesn't look that way so much anymore. Because some people cared a whole awful lot, and it got better. Make sure you have your list of characters when we finish the story and figure out who you think's the most important character of them all. Let's continue. No more trees, no more sneeds, no more work to be done. So in no time all my uncles and aunts and everyone waved me goodbye. They jumped in their cars and drove under the smog-smothered stars. And now all that was left in the bad-smelling sky was this big empty factory, the Lorax, and I. The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance, just gave me a very sad backwards glance as he lifted himself by the seat of his pants. I never forgot the grim look on his face when he hoisted and took leave of this place, through a hole in the smog without leaving a trace. And all that the Lorax left in this mess was a small pile of rocks, so at the words, unless, whatever that meant, I just couldn't guess. That was so long ago in each day that I've sat here and worried away through the years while my buildings have fallen apart. I worried about it with all my heart. But now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seemed perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing's going to get better. It's not. So catch. He let something fall. It's a truffula seed. It's the last one of all. You're in charge of the last truffula tree. The truffula trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula, treat it with care. Give it clean water and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest protected from axes and hacks. And then the Lorax and all his friends may come back. All right. Do you have your list of characters? Come on and have a seat with me. And I've got a list here, and this list is a list of from most important to maybe least important that a lot of students will tell. So many people remember the Lorax. There's the Onceler and his family. There's the child in it. There's the brown barbaloots. There's the humming fish, the truffula trees, the swans, and this one usually people forget, the chap that bought the sneed. He thought it was great. He bought it for $3.98. Out of this list, who do you think's the most important? Out of this list, who do you think you could be? At times, I would love to be the brown barbaloots frisking about in their barbaloot suits, but that might not be very realistic. Most people will tell me that we could be the child, the one who plants trees, the Lorax who protects the forest, or even the Onceler, the person who has a business and uses resources from the surrounding forest. But rarely people forget about the chap that bought the sneed. We don't know this person's name, but I believe that's the most important person in this story. Because what if the chap didn't buy the sneed and no one bought sneeds? I feel like the trees and the forest wouldn't have been chopped down as quickly, at least. And we become this person every time we buy something. Think about it as a vote. When you buy something, you're telling the company that I love this product, please don't change anything about it. So before next time you vote, think about, is this item healthy? Is this item local, or did it have to come from across the globe to get to where I am? And maybe how much packaging is around this item. And that's what could help us with these votes when you buy something. I have another question for you. Was the Lorax successful? Give me a thumb-o-meter. Maybe like yes, no, maybe you're somewhere in the middle. I would agree with people who said he wasn't successful, because the forest did get chopped down. The Onceler did change his opinion at the end, but it was too late for the forest that he lived in. So, what was the strategy that the Lorax decided to use? Do you remember when the Lorax kept seeing, like, no, 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 bad, bad, bad? The Lorax tended to just yell at the Onceler a lot. Can you think of a strategy that might convince the Onceler without yelling at him? My final question for you. Is the Onceler a bad person? Give me a thumb-o-meter, what do you think? I would agree with people who believe that the Onceler is not a bad person. He was just trying to provide for his family. And in it, he did say he most truly meant no harm. And at the end, he was giving seeds to the child to plant new truffula trees. So, my final thought is, how could the Onceler still provide for his family and the Lorax still keep the forest thriving for all the animals that live in it? I believe that you have wonderful ideas, and your thoughts are valuable and important. I think that you could come up with some creative solutions that both of these parties are happy. And they might be small solutions, but many small solutions can help with big problems out there. Keep thinking, keep brainstorming. Happy Earth Day, and take care.